Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't touch that dial or remote, switch, whatever you have, okay? My guest today is Mr. Magic. I say Mr. Magic because it's Al Zone who made the Elmwood Park Zoo come alive. You have a live zoo, and he made it come alive. So I want to welcome Al Zone, and you tell me what you do. What's your title? What's the scoop? You know, a local grown guy, right?
Absolutely, Rock. Thank you so
All
much.
right, let me hear more. I hear names up high. Go ahead.
Rock, thanks so much for having us on the show. We're really excited. Again, I'm Al Zone. I'm the executive director and CEO at the Elmwood Park Zoo. Been there for about 6 years now. But born and raised in Norristown, went to Norristown High School. It's great to walk through the halls here and see a bunch of stuff going on. But really excited to get involved with the zoo a few years back and making some changes, adding some new exhibits. We were just recently named the best boutique zoo.
I read
in
that.
the
That made the
AZA.
Associated Press.
Yeah, which was awesome. Created a pretty awesome exhibit this past year with a new Jaguar exhibit. It houses 4 cats inside the exhibit that are Jaguar and 1 ocelot.
Yeah.
But it's pretty awesome. Designed by Disney's Animal Kingdom architects.
Yeah.
So making some moves, bringing some new people into the zoo, some new guests. So it's been great.
Yeah, well, you first went there.
Yeah.
What did you have there? What was the scoop?
So
What some of the additions you?
Yeah, so I have a lot of memories. I have a lot of memories of Elmwood Park Zoo when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I used to go there all the time. I used to live up the street from the zoo. My parents grew up on Warren Street, which is right there by Elmwood Park. Grew up in the park, watching baseball games, watching concerts in the band
Tommy
shell.
Lasorda?
Yeah, I used to walk through the park there when it was a free zoo.
Free zoo, yeah.
It was a free zoo. Learned a lot in moving into my new role, how the land was donated by a pharmacist in Norristown, Charles Dobbs. It was donated to be an animal preserve. And the borough ran the zoo for some time. As you get older and you move on and you start doing different things, you always remember your local zoo.
Yeah.
And then when I was at Jeffersonville Golf Club, which isn't far from here either, I was there from 2000 to 2011. I started listening to how the zoo was having trouble and they were looking at closing. They were looking at selling off their animals and trying to get out of the business just because it became a little too much for them. It was something that I was really interested in.
It was a volunteer thing. Yeah,
Yeah, the board of directors.
Weiss.
Bubby Weiss was heavily
Weiss,
involved.
yeah,
Him and his wife did a lot for the zoo.
I
A lot
know.
of great people along the years. I've done some pretty awesome stuff to keep that place open.
Yeah.
You know, we're 94 years old this year. The zoo's 94 years old. It's exciting for us. To be a part of a nonprofit that's 94 years old, I'm excited to be a part of that.
Oh, yeah.
We are the borough and the region zoo. We're one of the best zoos in the country as a boutique zoo, but this is our zoo. So when I got there, we wanted to make some changes, make it more local, try to really tie in the local communities. We had about 114,000 visitors to the zoo in 2011.
Wow.
But a little over 700,000 last year. So
And you have
700,000
a
visitors.
membership what do you call it? Your membership?
Yeah, our annual membership
Annual,
ranges for seniors, for students, for just 2 all the way up to families of 6 or greater.
Great.
A couple years back, we added the zip line park, which went over well for us. We also added the giraffe feeding experience, the jaguar exhibit, red pandas.
Yeah.
We're starting to
How
plan.
many buffaloes?
Yeah, we got three bison, not buffalo. Bison are from North America, so we have bison. 3.
You know, when I was a policeman, a buffalo come out of the cage. I don't know if the guy was feeding them, left the gate open, and they called me. Well, they were looking for they thought I had to shoot him because he was outside the cage.
Yeah.
And I
ran
was
over-
driving the motorcycle, you know, and it
It ran over
so
to
I said, well,
State
I'll
Hospital.
get him up to the siren, and red light, and that buffalo looked at me, get out of there.
They're intimidating.
Them buffaloes are big, man, I tell you.
They're definitely intimidating. But we still have the exhibit, and you can hand feed them, which we didn't do before. But you can walk up there. There's an exhibit where you can walk behind the scenes slightly and hand feed the bison. We're the only zoo in the country that does that.
Well, you know, I'll say it's your zoo.
Well,
Your
it's our zoo.
can do a lot. I mean, it can do for the family. it can do for social clubs, can have meetings there, and there's so much you can do, like a wedding.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
we do a lot of
everything,
weddings.
and the people enjoy it. And then when whatever kind of program you have, the children can enjoy it. You know, so
Absolutely.
Tell me something about your catering bit. That's
Yeah, so we have a beautiful catering facility. We have a banquet hall that holds about 200 guests.
That whole 200.
Yeah, it holds 200. We have a lot of birthday parties, fundraisers. We like to say we're one of the few nonprofits that can benefit each and every other nonprofit. A lot of weddings. So retirement part, everything. It's an awesome space for that kind of stuff, and that helps subsidize what we need to pay to feed the animals. We were also talking about servicing everybody. Elmwood Park Zoo was just named the first autism certified zoo in the entire world, not just in the country.
What's that mean?
So what that means is 80% of our facing staff, the staff that deals with the consumer, has to be autism certified. We also need to create experiences that give the individuals with autism a ability to break away or to get a break. So there's quiet spaces set up throughout the zoo. We also offer a thing called quiet mornings, to where guests can come into the zoo that have autism. They can come into the zoo before the crowds get there, so they can come in about 2 hours before the zoo opens, and they're on set days, but it gives them an opportunity to come and enjoy the space when it's not so overstimulating to them.
You know, I see so many yellow buses.
Yeah.
They come down, and there's no room for them in the parking lot. They're parked along.
A lot of buses.
What's the
Harding.
Yeah, Harding
right along the
Boulevard.
zoo
You
there.
know, and where they come from?
All over. I want to say not just all over the county. They come from all over the state, even out of the state. We get a lot of trips that come in from New York, Baltimore, New Jersey. We have an awesome partnership with the Adventure Aquarium. We call it a land and sea membership. That does really well for us, where we get a lot of people in from New Jersey. So they come from all over. They come from all over.
That's great that they can come here and not only visit a zoo, but they already got a restaurant there to eat and everything. You know, I like your hot dogs too.
Yeah. And then they have the park itself. Elmwood Park is great. We love to get involved with the park.
Well, that's what I like to see. I think that the people would like to see other parts of the park
developed.
Now I know that you, Stan Husky, and Pat Mascara jumped in both feet to help keep the Columbus Monument moving, and I think that would be another visitors.
Yeah.
How about the Valley Forge visitors and
tourism board?
Are they helpful?
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Mike Bowman and his team are rock stars. They take good care of us. We love being involved with them. They do a great job of promoting Norristown and promoting the town.
Promoting, yeah. Well, now, for you to run the zoo, you have to cooperate or have to work along with county, local government,
Oh, yeah. State. Yeah, federal. Yeah,
right?
they're all involved.
And you're making the zoo is going to be like another town.
Yeah, it's definitely a destination, and we're like we mentioned a few minutes ago. We're working on Elmwood Park, trying to put new playground equipment in, trying to renovate the band shell so they can have better shows in there. Get some parking. We talked about there's no handicap parking.
Parking. The thing that made that most successful is the parking.
Yeah, we're about to add a new parking lot right now. We're adding another 300 parking spots right now.
You have to start making layers.
We're getting close. We're getting close. Yeah, we're getting close. 700,000 visitors, a lot of people. We're also working on how we get our visitors from the zoo down to Norristown, downtown Norristown. So we talked about a trolley system a few years ago, working with Crazy Aaron's. The train system runs right behind the zoo. So being able to connect our zoo visitor to downtown Norristown, to the restaurants, to Crazy Aaron's, I think there's a lot of really awesome solutions.
You got a train tracks over there.
Yep, runs right through our property.
Make it the Zone Express.
The Zoo Express. Elmwood Park Zoo Express. It's a good idea.
So all right, now, what's on the front burner right now? What's your front burner?
Yeah, so right now we're about to put the parking lot in. We're getting ready to go across the creek as well.
Where's that parking lot located? Behind or?
So it's gonna cut into our hillside. We have a hill as you come into the zoo, which sits up on the right. It's a lot of rock, but we're gonna remove some of that. Not too much of it, and we're going to put a nice parking lot up there with a nice nature walk through it. It's going to be really nice. So that's the first thing. But then we have a new otter with underwater viewing. bobcat, porcupine, cougar, and a
Porcupine.
walk-through aviary.
Wow. You
Yeah.
better watch it.
So
Don't
that-
sit on that.
Yeah, we won't do that. That's all getting put in the next year. And then across the creek, we're getting ready to build a new veterinary hospital. And we're talking with a lot of donors about grizzly bear and a couple new exhibits across the creek there.
You know what? Maybe I ought to make a phone call. What happened to my phone? So I want to make a phone call the Pope.
Okay.
I say, Pope, we got a zoo in Norristown, and St. Francis is the saint for animals. So I want to get a statue on the heights as you enter on the hill there. St. Francis looking over all the
great
animals.
idea. It's a great idea.
I get a devoted Catholic to donate make a nice donation. Now that's another thing.
I think it's great.
Let's talk about how you get money
Yeah.
to donations, and people that love animals, that love people to enjoy themselves, like a park, and also tell me
Sure. It's
how
about
you can help the zoo grow.
It's about relationships. It really is. And there's a lot of people that are animal lovers out there, but there's even more people that love and want to protect nature and the environment and conservation. And it's exactly what we stand for. We're not the oldest zoo in the nation like the Philadelphia Zoo, which is 20 minutes down the road, but we can get our education and our messaging so much closer to the
Well,
consumer.
yes, I think it's more friendly.
Absolutely.
More family.
Absolutely.
You're just a number down there.
Yeah, so,
But not that I don't knock it,
Sure.
but
Sure, and neither do we. But with that being said, our donors are very important to the zoo. The Jaguar exhibit that just opened was the third largest gift to any zoo in the entire country.
No kidding.
Which is awesome because it's for our zoo. But that wasn't cheap. It was a little over $7 million to build that exhibit. A lot of business owners, a lot of philanthropic individuals in our community love the zoo, and we start relationships with them. We bring them out, show them what we have to offer, and show them how they can help the community. So a lot of nature, animal, and conservationists have become big supporters of Elmwood Park Zoo in the years past.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Roosevelt Field.
Oh.
There's an empty thing, and it's so close.
Yeah.
I would like to see that be a show place for,
Yeah.
Years ago I remember when I was a policeman that the Ringling Brothers Circus was up in the corner of Germantown Pike
Sure.
and DeKalb Street, and their trains stopped down on Lafayette Street, and we escorted the elephants walking all the way up DeKalb Street.
That's
We
pretty
escort
cool.
them,
Yeah.
and that was great,
Yeah.
And then I think there was a guy by the name of Walker that had horses in the Walker's farm up on Trooper Road, and the train used to have all these horses come off, and we used to escort them up Main Street all the way.
It's definitely a different time today.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good uses for Roosevelt Field, and I know the municipality and the school district and everybody's they all have interest in that space.
Yeah.
We have interest in preserving the entire park, trying to fix it all up, make it a better place for Norristown, for the Norristown community.
Yeah.
We're looking at new playground equipment, different things that we mentioned a few minutes ago. But Roosevelt Field is definitely a resource that needs to be looked at because it's a big space just sitting there vacant.
I think they're better off having the 4th of July parade right there. Let the people sit in the stands, let the people go around.
Yeah,
Because
they used
we
to
have
do that for
you
years.
started Lafayette Street, you walk down Erie Street up Harley. There's more people in the parade than there is people watching it.
Yeah.
So
I feel as though the borough is doing a good job and working with the school district. Whenever you have government and you have different boards involved, it's a slow moving process. But we're getting there. Each day we try to chip away, and when you have support and we've created such a great thing at the zoo, you've supported us, and you've got a lot of people. You don't know how many meetings I walk in where they say, Hank was just here and he talked about the zoo.
Yeah.
All that chatter really helps and really helps us build.
Well, I like to see that now. this show, I'm interviewing you here, but John Doyle is going to go to the zoo and
Yep.
shoot all the different exhibits you have, and also.
We're excited to show off the zip line. We're excited to show off the Jaguar exhibit. Again, it's voted best Jaguar exhibit in the country. We want to show a little bit of that. Our giraffe feeding experiences, which is awesome. Bison.
Did we have somebody to sing a song like that guy that was about the animals? What's his name? I forget that song.
You're talking about.
We'll get John. He's a show businessman.
Captain Noah.
Yeah.
Captain Noah used to say.
Get that. Somebody
He
sing a
passed
little
away this
music,
past
you know.
year. Well, you
Music
sing
with
every time you're at
animals.
the zoo. You sing every time you're at the zoo.
Oh yeah, hey compare, say what's sonati. Well, I don't know if the animals understand it. They have Italian animals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We have a few.
What did the Christopher Columbus? What did the? He have any animals when he come on board? I think he had a horse.
He had a few. Yeah, we talked about it probably a few months back. About the educational components that we're working with the high school and with Mr. Doyle for the Columbus Monument, and really tying in some stuff that could work well for it.
Yeah. All right, now we got a question from the audience up there. Do you have a relation up in the audience up there through that building?
Possibly.
Okay.
Maybe one of the animals.
What makes the Jaguar exhibit so good or so attractive? What makes it people are really something different?
So the donor was a big contributor to Disney's Make-A-Wish, and the donor got the architects from Animal Kingdom, which is in Disney, to design this exhibit for Elmwood Park Zoo. They don't do a lot of exhibit design outside of Disney work, but it was very exciting for them to design this for us. It took about a 3-year process. The minds and the individuals that worked on the process were pretty cool, but it has an underwater feature for the Jaguar. They love to swim. They are one of the more aquatic cats. There's a great training tower. We're working right now with the Brazilian government to bring Jaguarundi into the country. They're one of the world's most endangered cats. But it gives you a chance to really get up and close.
Parrots.
We have those, but they're definitely not in the Jaguar exhibit. We have an awesome sun conure exhibit where you walk in and you can hand feed the birds, and it's a lot of fun.
My father had a shoemaker shop on DeKalb Street, made in DeKalb, on DeKalb Street, and he had a cage out there and he had a parrot. And the parrot, you say, shoe shine, shoe shine, shoe shine.
Good marketing. That's good marketing. We have a few of those. We have some Amazon parrots that you can give the parrot $1 and it'll put it in a donation jar.
Oh yeah.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It's like the organ grinder at the monkey to get the money. Yeah.
Similar.
All right, here's another one from the audience. The lady with the green hat. Have you? Here, you read it.
How have you learned so much about animals? That's a good question.
Oh yeah, all right.
Especially because I'm a caterer.
Yeah, what's animals?
I'm a student of the game. I was never the fastest or strongest football player on the field.
Wait, give it again.
I said I'm a student of the game. I was never the fastest or strongest football player on the field, but what I was I was usually the most educated on the field. I spent a lot of time learning what my opponent was going to do.
Yeah.
I do the same thing in business today. I spend a lot of time learning what the biologist and the animal behaviorist and what it takes to run a zoo. And it really becomes addicting. The passion behind animals becomes addicting. So it's been a lot of fun to learn about the animals and to learn about what they do, not just for children, but for adults. And for seniors and individuals
we don't have
with
animals.
disabilities.
The only time we see the animals in the zoo.
Yeah.
So you're being educated.
It's an awesome passion.
But let me say this. I think you've been so successful on this, and I think the most successful project, whatever you want to call it, you surround yourself with good people.
Great people.
You surround yourself with good people and you move forward. Yeah. And you have volunteers that are so dedicated, so, I don't know what I'd just say. When I go there, and hello, Mr. Cisco, they're really polite, really nice. Yeah. And that's why you are able to do that.
I don't always consider myself their boss. I consider myself more of their coach. We're constantly trying to work with them and develop them as well. I think we're always in a position to learn. I think when we stop learning, I think that's when things stop. So for us to continue to grow, we need to continue to learn from our employees, from our consumers, from our animals even. Yeah. So I think working with people, animals, I think that's what makes us great.
Yeah, I think Norristown could be a real classic vacation spot. They come to the zoo in the morning, have lunch with everyone to do, Then they get amusements in Elmwood Park, whatever you develop later, you know. And then at night you can go to the theater and see a show, and then after that show you can go over to the casino and lose all your money, whatever you want to do, you know. But we have it right here within a 3 mile.
Montgomery County is great. Norristown's great. I'm proud to be a Norristonian. I'm proud to to be born and raised in Norristown. I talk about it all the time. I used to joke and say that I always wanted to be the mayor of Norristown or run the zoo. I feel like they're very similar in a lot of ways.
Well, I'm the ambassador, you know. But
I'm not trying to take your job.
I don't know about that. I'm the illegitimate child of the council.
Well, you make sure you let them know it. And I feel like because of people like you, we get a lot of things accomplished.
Yeah, but let me say this. I was so happy when they called me and asked me to greet the groundhog on Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that groundhog passed away.
yeah, what happened?
That's why we haven't done it.
Yeah.
That groundhog passed
You
away.
want to get another one?
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Get one for next year.
We love you to do that event. We want you to be more involved with the zoo. Come to the zoo more. In fact, we have an awesome event coming up on the 21st of June. It's called Beast of the Feast, where we feature restaurants all throughout the county, all throughout the Norristown. We'd love to have you come to that event. Bring some guests with you, and you know you could promote Norristown and promote the zoo a little bit at it.
Next week I'm interviewing the two commissioners, Val and Ken.
Oh, that's great.
And I had Joe Gale, three.
Yep.
So they're very, cooperative. They're looking forward to moving Montgomery County, And here's another one. You read it. From the balcony.
What would you like to see in Norristown in 5 years?
There you are.
That's a good question.
Okay, that's a good question up there.
I'd like to see the perception of Norristown change. I feel like I feel like Norristown has a stigma for a while, and it doesn't need it. I know that when I got involved with the zoo, a lot of my close personal friends and business partners told me that I was taking a big risk in getting involved with any business in Norristown. I feel as though that's a crock. I'm proud to be a Norristonian, like I said before, and I'd like to see progress. I'd like to see things continue to change and improve and get better. And as that happens, it will change that perception. New businesses are moving into town. I'm a big fan of Crazy Aaron's and what he wants to do, and trying to keep good business owners in town. I think are important. Crazy Aaron's, he develops Thinking Putty. And he's down in the old Gretz building on Main Street in Norristown, and he's trying to do.
My show.
You should absolutely have him. He's trying to do a science show or a science store to where you can go in and develop your own Thinking Putty, and it's kind of like the Crayola Factory feel. It's awesome, and it's a new business to our town.
You touched something about the image of Norristown. I spent 37 years in law enforcement, and I would say, number one, Elmwood Park Zoo will be developed, the whole zoo, and we'll have to have security. People, you mentioned something about the image of Norristown. People are afraid to come to Norristown. They think it's unsafe or anything. So we have to make the town feel safe when people come here.
Yeah.
So I would say, and I've been saying this for so long, that the bathrooms they got there, toilets, whatever you want to call them, I don't know, they're not the greatest, but I would say you would have that restrooms and have a police precinct there where police could drive in and out. There'd be security for all the people in that area.
Yeah, you've been talking about that for a lot.
Develop that.
We have 700,000 visitors that come to the zoo.
Yeah.
700,000. Soon to be 1 million when the new parking lot comes. We're getting the people into Norristown, and they're coming. So whether
we got to make it safe, and we got to make it look safe. We got to put the walking beat. We got to be community.
I feel the more we become advanced, and the more that people see what the zoo's doing, it is starting to trickle. It is starting to trickle through the town. I want the town to be proud of the zoo. I want it to feel part of the zoo. I remember when I was first on your show, you gave me a bunch of stuff about it not being called the Norristown Zoo.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You didn't name it. I didn't name it. But at the same time,
I like it should be called the Norristown Zoo because anything nice Norristown should be attached to it because, like I say, when it changed the image, Norristown Zoo.
We absolutely tag everything we say. as Elmwood Park Zoo in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
We're the official live
Called the
mascot.
zoological, what do they call it?
Norristown Zoological Society.
Yeah, I can't pronounce that word.
That's right. We are we're the official live mascot of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're at every Eagles game with our bald eagle. He's on the sideline during the national anthem. He's in Head House Plaza. He's the official mascot of the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's our bird. And every time we're there, it's all about Norristown. We're the official live mascot of the Temple Owls. Stella, the owl that
I was invited down here to meet the Temple football team and the cheerleaders.
That's right. That's our owl. Goes to every Temple game for basketball and football and all their sports, their graduations.
Yeah.
And that is a Norristown's. That's something Norristown should be proud of.
I mean, maybe the council ought to listen what's going on down the zoo and help Norristown develop the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing. All right, here, another one. From the guy with that brown jacket up there.
Sure. How do you balance education and entertainment at the zoo? It's another great question. How do you balance education and entertainment at the zoo? When I first got to the zoo, a lot of the staff was concerned about me, who owned an entertainment company, coming in to run a zoo. And my feeling behind that is we will get people to the zoo by way of some entertainment. And once we get them there, it's our job to educate them, to turn them into ambassadors for the zoo and for conservation. But we have to get them there first. So if I did something like bring in the Philly Fanatic, we brought in Deuce Staley last year. It was the largest attended day the zoo's ever had. There was 10,000 people in the zoo that day. And that was last year, and that's already gotten beat this year. We had a little over 11,000 people in one day.
One day.
We bring them in for an event, and then we educate them.
Yeah.
Our membership goes a long way. When you become a member to the zoo, you can come for different types of events, whether it be the Beast of the Feast, which is an entertaining event, but again, at a leading educational facility in Montgomery County. We're all about the education.
Yeah.
So getting that messaging out there, I think, is important.
Now, the zoo hours are from...
So we open up Memorial Day through Labor Day between the hours of 10 and 5. The rest of the year, outside of Labor Day, back to Memorial Day, we open up at 10 and we close at 4. So we're open all year round. We just change that hour for daylight savings.
Okay, but then if they want to have a meeting at night, special meeting, it's open.
All that can be
that
can be booked through the zoo's website. We have great staff there at the zoo that handles all the bookings, and that's elmwoodparkzoo.org. You can go right online there and request some prices for a meeting space.
Here's another one from here. Tell us about your staff. Now, I just mentioned how you surround yourself with good people.
Yeah.
Tell me about your staff.
I'd like to start with we employ.
They respect you?
Yeah. Oh, I hope so. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We make them respect us, right? We employ a little over 300 people a year at the zoo. 300 is a lot of people at one space. We like to say we're probably one of the leading employers in Norristown as well as in the county. Out of those 300 employees, 78 of the full-time employees are Norristown graduates or Norristown residents. I think that's important. So not only do I surround myself with great people, right. I surround myself with great people that believe in this community as well.
Right.
I think it's important. A gentleman who did a lot of work in this studio, Sean Rogers, has been with me now for almost a young man, almost 10 years.
There was one girl that came here, very attractive. She looked like she came from Hollywood, you know.
Well, she may have. But Sean Rogers is my marketing director. Grew up here in high school, went to school here with us. We had a maintenance guy, our horticulturalist, all from Norristown. So some pretty awesome people. But the staff is great. We just hired the leading animal behaviorist in the country.
Tell me something about the people that take care of, taking care of the animals.
Yeah.
So what's the scoop? What's their names or what do they do?
So we have a full staff. We have an animal behaviorist, a general curator who handles the population, our education directors. We probably have about 30 employees that are just dedicated to the animal collection, and then about another 15 educators that go out to the classrooms, to the schools, to the fairs, the parks, to educate on the animals inside the zoo.
You don't have no snakes there, do you?
Got lots of snakes.
You got snakes?
We got snakes, yeah. We don't like to talk about them too much, but we have snakes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, alligators, snakes, red pandas.
Too.
Yeah.
Every time I go there, I look at the big animals. I don't look at the little guys, the little birds.
Have you ever been to Pennypack Creek?
No, I haven't been.
You don't know the Penny Pack
I
Creek?
tell you, as the ambassador, I want you to, anytime you get a big celebrity or somebody, I'll welcome them there.
You'll come
You
over.
Come over there. I'll make them happy, you know?
Yeah. Our alligator we rescued from the Penny Pack Creek in Philadelphia. A homeowner owned her, threw her in the creek. If you come and see her at the zoo, she's about 10 foot in length.
Yeah, but we went on a TV show down in Radnor,
Yes.
Radnor 2, Barbara Zippy.
Yep.
And you were telling me that you are dedicated to this. You dedicated your whole life to this zoo, right?
Absolutely.
And you've had offers from other zoos want you to go there, and you don't. You stay here.
Well, I'm a Norristown guy as much as I am an
Right.
Elmwood Park
Well, that's
Zoo guy.
important. That's important. You know, your heart is here. You know, that's.
I think that's what the missing piece was. I know Bubby Weiss did a lot for the zoo and got a lot of people interested in the zoo. And the people before me were also great individuals. But if you're not from this community, it's very hard to get everybody to stand behind you and mold such a great facility.
That's right. But I see how you handled such a big crowd of people. When I see along Harding Boulevard, like 10, 15 buses there.
Yeah.
They leave the people off and park over there so they don't get in anybody's way.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
about
why
safety.
you need more parking. That's what Norristown's a problem with Norristown. Norristown was built for walking.
Yeah.
We have a Roosevelt Stadium, you know, holds 5,000, 6,000 people. No parking place.
Yeah.
You know, but everybody used to walk. You know?
Oh, I remember. I played a lot of football
My
games.
father
in
was a
that stadium.
shoemaker, but now people stopped walking.
No
and
more
he's
shoes.
not a shoemaker no more.
There's a great shoe place by the zoo that I go to quite often. So.
My father had a sign there. I'm no preacher, but I do save souls. Well, it's a community joke. I don't know.
I love it. That's a good one. Yeah,
So-
so I appreciate the support. The zoo's been doing great because of people like yourself that believe in it.
Well, I dedicate my whole life to Norristown, and like I say, and they say coming back. We didn't go anywhere.
Oh, I
We
agree.
just every once in a while, it's just like a 15-round bout. The bell rings, you take a rest. So we're rested now. We're gonna. The bell rings again. You're gonna come out there, punch it again, and that's what you're doing. But I never saw such a project move so fast and so successful, and more people.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I watch people going in there
Yeah, you got to stay
so
aggressive.
happy with baby coaches and
You
everything.
got to stay aggressive. I feel I have a nice sign on my desk. One of our vendors in the zoo gave me a sign, and it sits on my desk. It's a paperweight, and it says the road to success is always under construction. And I believe that. I feel like you have to constantly change and develop in order to keep up with the times and
Yeah.
keep moving forward. We're never satisfied, and I have an awesome board of directors that support that.
Oh yeah,
We-
tell
we
me about the board
constantly-
of directors. I think I know a couple of
Yeah,
them.
Wendy Rothstein, Judge Rothstein was on your show.
Oh, yeah, I had her on
she's,
show.
She's a Norristonian as well, and heavily
Yeah,
supports us.
she went to school with my daughter Joanne. I think it's Joanne.
Mr. Kimmel passed away this past year. He passed away in March.
Who was it?
Don Kimmel, big supporter of the zoo.
Oh, yeah.
Did a lot for the kids, the playgrounds. He's going to be missed. He's been a board member for over 20 years. Don Millard is another one. Our board president is awesome, Sharifa Howarth. She's what really led to a lot of this, what you would call moving and shaking and bobbing and weaving. She's an athlete. She's a go-getter. And she's really turned a lot of heads. And we owe a lot of that to some great people.
They're active too,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. They have to be.
Well, you know what I remember about the old, I shouldn't say the zoo when it was free. We had a water, what do you call it, fountain with water, spring water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the old
and
spring.
Is it still there?
So the spring is there. It used to be a lion head drinking fountain.
We used to go there with gallons and get,
Oh, yeah. That's all. We're bringing back the lion head drinking fountain that used to come from the spring. But many years ago, that spring had collapsed long before us getting involved.
Yeah, we used to go there and get.
I remember.
And then another thing, great memories was the monkey cage was on that little bit of a hill.
Monkey Hill.
We call that Monkey Hill.
Monkey
and
Hill.
we used to go sledding there.
Yeah, there's a picture in the Times Herald that my mom has many years ago of her sledding down that hill. So again, the zoo has a lot of roots that tied very far back for me. So I've always been connected with the town and with that area. It's been important to me.
Yeah. So.
Monkey Hill.
Well, all right. Now, what's your next right hand?
Oh.
It's going to be. Let's talk about the Columbus Monument now. Let's see how What we're going to do?
We're working with, again, Mr. Doyle here, and
Who?
Mr. Doyle is helping
Yeah.
us with the educational components. We're getting ready to tie some
I'd
education
like to
in.
see that.
We need to raise a little bit more money for the fountain itself. A lot of the piping underground has been damaged.
You
and
want
there's a lot-
to? You want to? I made a contact with Frank Giordano from the Philadelphia Pops Orchestra,
Sure.
and I was asking him to come to Norristown, and maybe they could do a fundraiser here for
A show or something.
and he looked at the auditorium, and it holds like 2,500 people.
Yeah.
Well, we could do a nice fundraiser there. You never know. So.
Yeah, no, I'd love to do something. The monument's great. Again, it's kind of like the two bookends. You have the zoo and you have the monument, and you have that awesome park in
Yeah,
between.
well-
I feel like we slowly need to start changing the park and making that whole space flow nicely and develop.
Well, I'm in your corner. I'm giving you the towel, mouthpiece and everything.
Well, I appreciate the support.
Our 30 minutes is over.
It
All
went
right,
fast.
30 seconds. Tell me something about the park. What are we going to do? What do you want the people to know?
I feel the best way to do is contact us through our social media, through our Facebook, our Instagram. Go to the website, get involved with the zoo. I think it's very important. ElmwoodParkZoo.org. We're easy to find. We're perfect for today's economy. We're perfect for today's family. It's not exhausting. We have free parking, which I think is very,
Free parking,
very important.
Well,
and we have new
how much
parking.
parking down Philly?
How much does it cost? I don't know, but it's not free. I can tell you that. And
That's
it's not
cheap.
close. And it's not close.
All
either.
right, okay. Now, so Al Zone, what do you call it? You're the director? What's your
Executive
title?
Director and CEO.
Director of the Norristown Elmwood Park Zoo.
That works for me.
All right, thank you so
I
much
appreciate
for
your
coming
time.
here, and I'm so happy that you're helping the Columbus Monument, which is I was the founder of it, and
Yeah.
I'm 94. I can't be doing there. How long I'm going to be around?
You're as old as the zoo.
So I want to enjoy. At least I can say the zoo was. You're Mr. Magic. You made Elmwood Park come alive. Okay.
appreciate it. Yes,
so
sir.
thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on the show, and let's have it for a la salud, right?
Salute.
Right. That means to your health. You got your health, baby. You got everything, right? Thank you for allowing us to come into your home, and may God bless each and every one, and may Saint Francis take care of the animals. Okay. So until we meet again, keep bobbing and weaving, left hand high, stick and move, and keep your trunks off the canvas. Right? Bow. Boom.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you.